Mission fucking accomplished. Goon Swarm is not a threat.
Good luck with your all's dumb nullsec war snuffed out #1. Anunnaki Keepstar is next, and then come on.
There, then you were just gonna fucking magically jump into EVE Online in a system, and it was just gonna load, and nobody was gonna call you fucking stupid later.
There's an Eagle fleet that has dive bombed a Megathron fleet. This is the bravest shit I have ever seen in my life.
The best possible shot to do something to the Imperium, and you fucked it up.
I talked a lot of shit over the last couple months. It's time to fucking eat some. And I showed up here to eat shit. Like,
the reason that this keeps started and get contested, and I cannot make this up, is because of tie-dye.
Guess where goons are gonna live after this war is over?
the current plan is 319, I believe, right?
Hell.
Hi, sick.
I can
People
tell you very
overreacting.
clearly, our Diplos didn't even fucking care. So, like,
White daddy.
Figured it out.
What has chat figured out? Chat, have you figured out that there's no audio on the stream?
Yes, they said his red line fucked something up already.
It's basically what happens on a daily
It's
basis.
backwards.
Just so you know, I have in fact fixed the audio, so now we can be heard by the people that are watching the show. Do you want to count down again?
Oh,
5,
no.
4,
No, it doesn't matter.
3. Welcome to Untethered. We're back. It's been a couple weeks. We should talk about that. Why was it a couple weeks? Where have we been?
Various portions of our hosts have been busy on those dates. It's not really a particularly exciting reason.
I'm obviously still at the beach. At least I wish I was. I've just come in from doing yard work.
On your webcam. Quick question: is the tide coming in or going out right now?
It is in fact going out.
It's going out. Well, that better be true, otherwise you're going to get your equipment all salty and sandy. Hey, listen, welcome, kill mail enjoyers and haters. This is an episode of Untethered with a really slick intro. We are joined, as ever, by the Puce Moose. Give us a wave.
Hello.
And we have the return of Luke as well. Good to have you back, Luke.
Hello. Good to be back.
Good to have you here. Nice to see that you still have all of the shelves behind you with the lighting designed so that, you know, if anybody wanted to use your room to shoot up, they wouldn't be able to find a vein. It's very, very useful. Very useful.
Very specific piece of knowledge that you happen to know that I can't.
That was among one of the weirdest things that you've ever said to introduce someone on the show. Honestly.
What colour
strange.
is better for shooting up? Shall we change to that?
Well, anything that's
Red.
not blue, because the veins would be blue, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not that
That's
we're
why.
giving advice on how to shoot up on the show, because that would be awful, right?
That'd be against the
We wouldn't
terms
do
of
that.
service. We'd
Gosh.
be next week we'd be on Kick instead.
Yeah.
Or Rumble.
Rumble.
I forgot that was a thing. I forgot that
did
was a thing.
too.
Right. Hey, listen. Before we talk about everybody's favourite kill mails, which are obviously simultaneously the lifeblood of EVE Online and the poison that's killing it from within inside.
Is that right?
We have it's both of those
Interesting.
things.
Interesting.
It's both of those
that
things.
You'd say that.
But the lifeblood of the North has a little political update today, which maybe Luke will be able to give us a brief overview of from Reddit.
I mean, I don't think I have much of an overview. Obviously, Norris posted on Reddit. There's an interesting bit that seems to have come up around whether he is banned, whether he's not banned. TLDR, he was banned, is not banned anymore. And then, yeah, there was a whole kind of ideological point of what he wanted Winter Code to be and all the rest of it. But I'll let people that are more interested in that discuss that because, you know, I know what Winter Code is meant to be. I've been part of it for 5 years, 6 years.
That's definitely
Excellent.
long
Well-
enough to know what it's about.
Well,
Well,
Norris
you're-
is free now. Basically, is the first half of his post. He's a free man. He has served his
he's
time and he has no outstanding warrants.
I think he's
Good
actually
for
been free
him.
for quite a long time. He only just chose to make it public, however,
Okay. All right.
from what I understand.
He's done his bit. He's highlighted that obviously in this game there's a fair amount of stereotyping that goes on, especially around the Chinese community, which I think is a very very fair assessment. But
That there's stereotyping, or that the stereotype is a fair assessment. Those are two very different things.
it's that there are people who stereotype people a lot.
Yeah,
Much like
there
in
are.
real life, it's almost as if sort of EVE Online is a sort of a mirror of the human condition.
I do like. What does Winterco mean to you, Luke? And is it a alliance devoid of human evil?
Define human evil.
Well, exactly. I really like to know by that in this spaceship game where you go and you shoot at each other, you do violence on one another. What is an alliance that is devoid of human evil?
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm the right person to answer that. What I would say, however, is, at least for me, Winterco is it is an alliance that is fairly kind of fair. Like Norris is not historically one of these people, and none of the leadership of these people that kind of enforce these really strict doctrinal rules on everybody. Obviously, I'm biased. Redline is obviously reasonably newer in Winterco, so it'll be interesting to get his view. Although he's with Tessa, he hides up in Declan, but it will be good to get probably maybe his view more than mine, to be honest, because I'm understandably slightly biased.
Witnessed
we're
any
all
human
biased.
evil, Redline, in Winterco?
We're all biased in our own ways.
I have never witnessed any evil in Winterco. As a matter of fact,
Oh, in Winterco. Well, where have
some
you
of the
witnessed evil
some of
in
the
this game?
strongest fighters I've seen are from Winterco. As a matter of fact, and that I can say for sure.
Some of the people who need the strongest potions.
Not like that. They don't need strong potions. They're brave, brave people. It's fun.
No, they live in Delve. We've
Not-
got
Not that kind of brave. What do you?
okay.
I mean, they don't live in Delve anymore either, right? Like, I've been away. Even I know
Yeah.
they don't live in Delve anymore. They got chased out. of
Everybody
Delve.
rotated to the right.
Yeah. Finally, actually, Imperium finally fulfilling what Band of Brothers started with their what was their prospective campaign called, where they were going to go around the map except in a clockwise direction. Am I showing my age by bringing that up?
You might
You are
be. I
showing
have
your age.
no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, we'll leave that in that
I
case.
can't remember that.
How
In which
embarrassing.
case,
How
maybe it's
embarrassing.
maybe it's very difficult for me to be embarrassed. Honestly.
So tell us
I'm
the
here.
story. Tell us the story here. What happened?
A Band of Brothers were proudly announced, I believe, not too long before they were hostilely dissolved. That they were going to go on a campaign that was called something like the TikTok campaign, where they were going to go around the
Band of
map.
Brothers invented TikTok.
They did,
Amazing.
they
Well
did,
done,
and
Band
it's
of
their
Brothers.
fault really. They were going to go around the map in, I believe, a clockwise direction, taking one region at a time until they got back to Delve again.
That would have been great.
Didn't really work out for them. Because they were insurmountable at the time because they had eight Titans.
Oof. That's a lot of Titans.
It was the AoE
At the time,
Doomsday.
it was, like, a pretty decent number of Titans.
Well, I mean, no, most other groups didn't have one, so and they were the AOE ones, so it was all about goodbye fleet in 20 seconds or however long the spool up was at the time.
So now everyone knows exactly how old Phantomite is and how long he's been playing the video game.
Now, something that I
Lord,
do
it's
have from
ancient
playing
history.
the video game for this long is I am sitting on an almost unassailable wealth of 33,197 kill mails, which has during the last week has been a point of great debate on Reddit as Zed Killboard introduced the option to have delayed kill mails.
That was good. Delayed kill mails.
Delayed kill mails up to 72 hours. Up to 72 hours if you wish.
But for what?
So, well, this is, I believe, any kill mail that is associated that you get as a victim or a final blow. You can delay for whatever you set the slider to on Zkill when you submit your ESI to be able to read that. Now, a lot of people may not have considered this, but if the person you killed or who kills you has their ESI submitted without a delay, the kill mail just goes straight up anyway, obviously.
Or
it's
if it
the
gets
same
manually
idea.
posted, it goes straight up.
I'm pretty sure that
So
anybody who considers whether or not they have their ESI on Zkill has considered those things.
Well, a lot of people were for and a lot of people were against. There were people in the thread who were cheering. There were people who were, for some reason, angry that they wouldn't be able to perhaps see 0.5% of the kill mails for up to 72 hours. I'm just scrolling to the bottom of the thread where you can get, the yeah, I saw that face piece where you can get perhaps the
comments.
angriest items here. People calling for it to be delayed for all users, which, full disclosure, is what I think would be a good idea, although it would have to come from CCP to mean anything.
Yeah, I don't think Zkill should delay it for all users. I think CCP should delay it for all users. There is already a delay in the kill mail getting spat out of ESI, but it's not consistent and it's not particularly long.
It's like, what, a minute?
Why, pray tell?
It's like
would
a
you
minute to 15
like to
minutes or
delay it
something like
further?
that.
Yeah, and that's probably more technical infrastructure than it is
Yes.
encoded limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have perhaps the thickest take buried down at the bottom here. It says, "Rest in peace, Zkill, the former arbiter of truth," which obviously makes no sense whatsoever. I think that this Reddit user could be one of the many who are possibly functionally illiterate, unable to read even the headline, even the title of the thread introducing delayed kill mails is in contradiction to a post as stupid as that. Somebody else downvoted towards the bottom here. They say total placebo if it defers to the shortest time setting between two accounts. So this is somebody from Gorin pointing out, the obvious, that the other party will just have it posted anyway instantly.
That is true, but not everybody has their ESI connected to Zkill. So I suppose there is a bunch that won't get posted. But also, if you want it to be delayed, just don't connect your ESI. I mean, that was already an option.
I mean, Zed Killboard, of course, at this stage, this many years in, does obviously have a critical mass of ESIs that 99.9% of all kills will end up on the kill board. So that's essentially what you are fighting against if you are into the delayed kill mails.
I'd like to know what percentage Squiz actually thinks he has of kill mails that go up. That'd be quite interesting. But yeah, Zkill is effectively the only kill mail site, right? So other ones do exist, like Eve Kill and Eve Tools, but they all pull info from Zkill because Zkill has the most ESIs and has its lovely Redis queue thing that spits out the kill mails. So everything effectively comes from CCP into Zkill and then out to the other kill mail sites at the moment.
In a way, it's perhaps something that we should be vocally grateful for is that Squiz does push these back out to people who want to tap into this source of information, which he absolutely does not have to do at all, and in fact serves almost exclusively to allow other people to build a competing product off the back of his collection of ESI'd people and organizations. I think it shows that he's all for other kill boards existing, competition if you want in that space. But of course, something that offering does also do is it would allow other products to grow off the back of that without asking people to give their permissions to other applications as well, other kill boards. Which sort of, puts him in. I'm grateful that he does it, but he is kind of the only. He's the gatekeeper. He's the gatekeeper of all of this information, and something that we have seen on Zkill in the last year or so is little inconsequential, but little preferences to his group on there. Special badges on their profile and things like
that killed you, which just is clutter and doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the random clutter being added to things. I quite like just a clean kill board, but Zkill has the critical mass of ESI tokens, so I don't think we're ever really going to see one which isn't dependent on Zkill because it's just such a monopoly already. Unless CCP just opened up kill mails to just spew out, but I personally don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because if they did, there would be no opting out of your kill mails being public, essentially, because CCP could only do all or nothing, unless of course CCP just made it a box that you could tick on your character in game, like allow public kill information, allow kill info to be public, something like that, So make it a. Would you make it an opt-in or an opt-out? I think if you made it opt-in, nobody would press it. You wouldn't be able to get a critical mass submitting to it. Yeah, but that would essentially put a lot more load on CCP because people would start turning to them for the data rather than turning to a private individual. But then again, why should this be a private individual's expense as well? It's very complicated.
Yes, honestly, look, now that you mention expenses. If this isn't something that Squiz is selling, he should be. The delayed kill mills? Look. He can basically filter it so that anybody, like any kill mill that has your name on it, could be delayed by up to 72 hours. Subscribe to the Patreon and you get this slider. Come on,
Squiz. He wouldn't be allowed to do it for real money.
Why not?
Yeah,
pretty sure you're not allowed to profit off of that.
Why not?
I mean, he's not selling any in-game goods under any circumstances here. It's just literally
he's just delaying the posting of information to his website.
You probably could argue that you could probably argue that it's a form of blackmail.
That's not a form of blackmail.
What?
Listen, it's
okay. Again, right?
It's a light grey mail. Okay.
If that was a thing, why would you just not connect your ESI? Unless it was like pay for any kill mail with your name in it.
Exactly.
Delayed
That's
ever.
what it would be.
And no, fuck that. Don't do that.
Why not?
But
gotta pay for the server somehow.
It's just so biased toward that is just pay to win. I know you love pay to win.
Wait.
But...
How is that pay to win? It's just the kill board. What's so important about the kill board?
I'm pretty sure that you were saying earlier that you like
don't open this box,
and you think that there should be more free intel for everyone. It gets things going.
Absolutely. Free intel, I think, is the best thing in the world. And
But
if you
is
know where a
paying
fight
for your name
is,
to be redacted from a kill board,
hey,
that's reducing free intel.
I mean, it is what it is at that point. Why not?
I mean,
I think if that was implemented, a lot of people would just stop using Zkill, and maybe
Do you
then
think so?
a different kill board could thrive. But
I think at that point you
Yeah.
would probably just get a different kill board.
Yeah, but like, which one would you use though?
one of the other ones.
the Eve Tools one is fairly good, and Eve Dash Kill is coming along nicely.
I find Eve Kill
Dash
too
Kill?
cluttered personally, but yeah, Eve Tools works.
Yeah, Eve Tools has by far of both available offerings the best battle report mechanics. I mean, and it's pretty scalable as well in terms of number of groups and the sorting. And I love the timeline feature. I love all the extra damage feature, things like that. It's actually really good. And something to really appreciate in the year 2025 is it's very responsive as well, which is a rarity among any piece of software these days. Like, I'm still astonished at that it can sometimes take a quarter of a second to load sets of modules in Python. I'm like, can you just use more of my RAM, please, instead?
Well, I mean, Python is Python coded, so
I'm gonna say it's like. I mean, you can make it worse. You can make it out of Java.
Clarification: I love
Like
Python.
Eve assets.
Thank you for thanklessly maintaining Python, whoever it is. It's much appreciated.
Please add a dark mode though, a native dark mode that I can just turn on and off and not get flashbanged by it.
You do raise a good point though, and you said that this shouldn't be something that could be gate kept by a player, and you're absolutely right. But I don't think this is something that should be delayed by CCP. I think that CCP should have their own kill board. Like, there should actually be a provided service from the company.
Why is there not a kill board in game?
Precisely. Why isn't there a kill board in game?
Be there?
Wouldn't that be great?
Huge amounts of work. We've had huge amounts of dev work go into features that nobody gives a toss about, that are easily as complex as a basic in-game kill board. So
an in-game Plex resale marketplace.
But I guess the question there though, right, is as a private company, why would you build a thing that already exists? Like there's dev time to go there, and there's already a thing that has critical mass and people like it because it's a community project, and Eve pushed the community, or CCP pushed the whole community part quite heavily. So why would you? Yeah, I'm putting my engineering hat on, right? Like, why would I ask a team to spend a load of time creating a thing that already has a really loyal following?
Well,
because we had a way to view that information in game, but then it was taken away.
So, I mean, folks have probably seen as well that Zkillboard has a sponsored kill mail option. I would imagine that CCP would make that cost Plex.
I mean, why not? It's essentially just another type of cosmetic at that stage. So why not? If they want to sync it. But, a lot of people would complain that it was going to raise Plex prices. People complain about every use of... There's always a bunch of people on Reddit, again, who complain that every new use of Plex is just going to raise Plex prices. But none of these people understand that Plex is always the same cost forever. The cost of a month's worth of Plex is the limit of what somebody is willing to grind in the game. That doesn't change.
That's a little too deep for my liking, if I'm being honest. I think you're going to have to make it a little bit more shallow for people to understand. Not me, I understand completely, but some of the viewers might not. No, not me. I got it. I get it. That's fine.
Plex always costs, in terms of time and effort, the maximum amount of time and effort that people are willing to put into the game to afford Plex.
That doesn't make any sense at all, frankly. That's the silliest thing you've ever said.
Can anybody translate that form? I mean, do either of you two understand where I'm getting
at?
I don't know whether I word it though.
I understand
Well,
the
I mean-
words that you're saying, but it doesn't make sense because I don't look at Plex like that. I look at Plex as like, okay, this is just how much money I get for this much Plex. It's not
I don't
about
actually think that's true anymore
it's not about how
because of
much
the way that
time.
Plex is used as a store of value rather than just being to subscribe. Like if it was just being used to subscribe, the cost ceiling of Plex would be as much ISK as you're able to grind in 30 days, right? For 500 Plex, because otherwise there would be no point. But I think the way that people just use it to stash wealth as an asset that always goes up, I don't necessarily think that's correct.
You make it
anymore.
sound like it could be a bubble.
Look, it can't go down, okay? You need to get in on this Plex right now.
Except in
Send money
theory,
to Starline Enterprises and we'll give you $ Plex.
where I'm sort of going. Well, we need to go back to kill mails in a minute, but where I'm sort of going with that is that even if the ISK value of Plex goes down, in theory, because that's as much effort as that's as much ISK as people can be bothered to earn, that is also going to be the same value in ships and goods. Even if the value has gone down, you'll still be able to get the same ship at the same relative value for the money that comes out of it. Okay, all right. Anyway, well, listen, kill
I'm not an
mails.
economist.
Here's the real deal with very rapidly auto-posted kill mails, which is the meta that we are in at the moment, right? You go for a roam, and within minutes of getting a kill, people can see that you were there and what you and your friends were in, aside from the Logi, unless they've got a whore gun fitted. And you can be tracked with only sometimes a minute's delay as you kill and move through nullsec, lowsec. People can see that you're active in your home. They can see that you're online without having to go there and take a look. They can see your comp. They can very often see the guns that you've got fitted. They can very often see, well, they can always see just how many of you there are, that kind of thing. And I feel that EVE Online, pretty much every group in EVE Online, suffers to a greater or larger extent from a mentality of, I'll undock when I see somebody else undock first. And I think that largely instant intel through Zed Killboard without having to go and find it yourself physically across the geography of the game, probably doesn't help that. It's definitely not the only factor that causes I'm only going to be a reactive player in this game.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, though, I think it does also get people to undock because you see, oh, there's a fight happening 5 jumps away, let's undock and go and do it. Whereas if you just thought, oh, I'm going to have to spend ages looking around to find one guy, you might not bother.
Plus, if there's no one docked up waiting for you, then who are you gonna fight?
What?
If there's no one docked up waiting for you, then who are you going to fight?
Well, if they're docked up and they're waiting for you to undock first and you're waiting for them to undock first, then nothing's going to happen.
No,
I think
you
Fant's point is that
specifically.
both sides are looking at the kill mail.
I'm saying
board
you
waiting for somebody to
specifically.
do something.
If you aren't out and they don't know you're there, how are people going to come and fight you?
That's a good point. But
it's my only point. By virtue of roaming, you want to fight.
But if more people in this game had a positive get up and go mentality of I will be out and about as a way of being ready for a fight, or as a way of being like, come here I am to fight me, then perhaps more people would get a bit more PvP. And that's pretty, security status agnostic.
I was gonna say, are there any specific people that you're talking to when you say that? Because it sounds pretty targeted, and you might as well say them by name. They're right here, after all.
It has been me on and off. I certainly like to think that these days I'm much more of a let's get out there and be ready for something, rather than let's wait until something happens. So
how would you propose that people get ready or be out and ready that is different than being docked up and in comms.
Well, when you're out and ready, and you are vulnerable to attack.
Okay.
Unless you're out and on tether, but yeah.
Right.
Okay.
'cause
Let's assume that docked
there would-
also means on tether.
there would be out and on tether, or I mean, on a gate.
I think
possibly
that,
next
that
to a keepstar.
a
like
lot
you're-
more people would have a lot more fun in this game if they took the title of this show into their hearts.
Oh, I can't believe you said that. Why? Don't take anything
So-
from this show into your heart. Are you kidding me?
I think kill mails are both like a motivator to go and fight people and also a motivator to not fight people, because there needs to be some kind of trophy that you can show off, right? We had this big fight, we killed a python, it's worth 1.6 trillion ISK or whatever.
Yeah, you want to be able to show.
You want to be able
off,
to show that
right?
off, right? But at the same time,
Make it an NFT.
the person who maybe owns that python is like, oh, but what if I show up on Zkill and somebody posts about it on Reddit? Then I'll be shamed for the rest of my life.
It's like simultaneously, it's both good and bad to be, what if I could hold this up over somebody forever, and what if somebody holds this up over me forever?
It's the cool thing to
we-
say, right? I don't care about my Zkill.
I will say that we do
But-
have a command in the cesspool where if you type exclamation point porpoise, it will pull up a kill mail of a gentleman who lost, I believe it was a Raiju, to a porpoise.
So,
this is the thing that's there forever.
It's
You-
yeah, I'm
so
not
have-
letting
have
it go
you-
away.
So, Redline, have you built a specific bullying bot into your
Yes.
Discord?
Yes, in fact, I have. I have indeed done that. Is there any shame in it? No, not at all. Zero. But I
mean,
think
you're kind of justifying why some people wouldn't undock because people would take the mick out of them because of their Z-kill boards. You're kind of justifying the reason Z-kill board is
mean,
also somewhat slightly negative to the community because
Redline's
it's
part of the
people
problem.
undocking.
okay, so I see what you're saying, right? But think of it this way. If you are an FC and you are looking for something to do and you don't want to just roam around, what is the best way to find something to do?
But there's two ways of finding it out, right? And let's be
Well,
clear.
what's the best
I'm
way?
neither
What's
for
the
nor against
best
kill boards.
way?
I actually don't care. However, you could also bring up the in-game map and look at the number of ships destroyed in the last hour. And if there's, 100, probably a fight going on.
Yeah,
For
but-
example.
but I'd
Yeah,
never
you've
know
got
what
jumps
that
in the last hour.
I'd never
you've got
know
ships
what
destroyed,
that
captures
fight
destroyed,
was.
etc.
How would I know what
you
to
even
bring?
got Dotlan with its ratting deltas and things.
But how would I know what to
There's
bring?
other tools. You
How
can't
would
have to
I?
take the risk.
How would I?
So
How would
you-
I be
so
able
you-
to find the super carriers without seeing them lose fighters to rats?
Okay, that's
It's almost as if you have to undock and look, and then whilst you're in space looking,
Look?
somebody might come and fight you.
I go
You could
look for
extend-
something.
You could
What?
extend the in-game map, right, to say the number of ships by class lost in the last hour. And that would give you-
Sure.
It doesn't go too far, but it's enough to tell you that, there's a number of, I don't know, dreads dying, right? Okay, there's probably a fight there. And it's probably enough to pique an interest.
I guess.
I'm neither for or against dekill, so it's kind of.
I mean, I think that Zkill personally it's a good tool, and I don't think that it should be the only tool that people use, but I don't think that it's a bad tool. And I mean, if you're out
I don't think
killing
it's bad
people,
either. But yeah.
if you're out killing people, then people should be able to find you quickly. Like that's the point. And if you can't handle being found quickly, then you should find someplace else to roam. You know?
Well,
See,
which
I've always thought
they'll
that-
find you quickly wherever you've gone to by using Zkill.
I've always thought the halfway house option is quite nice, which is to go Z-kill is fine, ESI kill mails is fine, but maybe just show the ship type, the ship name, and its value, and not its modules.
Oh,
modules
thank
really-
you.
So I was thinking about this.
Maybe you
Yeah,
can
we
only
came
get
up
the
with the
fit if
subject
you
of we're gonna talk
subscribe
about
to
kill
the
mails.
Patreon.
Is the fit not one of the big things you want to show on the trophy kills? Because I could kill like a nightmare, it's fine, it's like T2 fit. But if that nightmare is officer fit, then at that point, I want to see what's on it. I mean, I suppose you could just show the value of the ship, like the estimated value, but
I think
with abyssals and things, that is not
I mean,
accurate.
abyssals get a bit weird. I agree. I think the thing is there is it just gives the halfway house, right, of people that don't like Z-Kill because Z-Kill gives perfect intelligence, right? If someone's a hot dropper, you know they're a hot dropper because you can see their previous loss, you know what was on their ship. Yeah, blah. If you're going to go fight, if you see a fight with, I don't know, Ferrox Navy fleet going on, and you know the exact fit because as long as one of them dies, so you can immediately prepare. Now, if you're a competent FC and you see a fleet of Ferox navies dying, you probably know how they're fit because there's only a handful of good ways of actually fitting it. But it's inference, and that's a skill expression, knowing that, right?
Yes, I like that.
In my mind.
Well,
Speaking
remember-
of
Go on,
knowing how things are fit, how many more shit fits do you think we would see without Zkill? If you couldn't see the fit and copy it off Zkill? Because I know there are a lot of people who will think, oh, I need to fit a Atron, and they'll go to Zkill and they'll look at like top Atron pilots and they'll just copy people's losses.
I don't think it would make that much of a difference because I think the gap would be met by groups just putting fit somewhere, right, and publishing those to people.
Well, that and of course getting a good fit off of Zkill doesn't necessarily make you a good pilot flying it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No.
Also, you've got things like Eve. Like, is Eve Workshop still a thing? Eve Workshop.
There's sites like it,
Yeah.
and it's on, and big groups have wikis with their fits, and people talk about. There are discords where people discuss it. There's a lot of places you can go to grab fits, basically. But I mean, here's something, Luke. Obviously, you're saying ship and value, perhaps, but no fitting, that kind of thing. Something that obviously, tell me which of you here remembers this. Tell us in the chat as well. There was a time where kill mails only showed items that were destroyed, not that were dropped. Now that's a kind of halfway again. And somebody loses two of the same ship, you can pretty much figure out the entire fit anyway. So it doesn't go as far necessarily as you were suggesting. But something that I like about the idea of no fitting or only what was destroyed, something like that, something I like about it is that you get to keep a few more secrets for a little bit longer about yourself and the way that you're flying that ship this month, especially in the solo space, and especially when it comes to ships like notably the Comet or the Hookbill, which have about 4 or 5 different ways that people can fit it, and they are all valid, rather than like these are the 2 ways you fit it type thing. It would be nice to, because something that I'll do is if I see a Comet and I want to go fight it, in literally 5 seconds, I can be on the losses page for the person who's in the Comet to see how they typically fit it. And I don't believe I should be able to do that.
What if kill mails came out monthly? Just at the end of the month, they just released a batch.
In a magazine that was posted to your house.
Yeah. I think ultimately, I think it comes down to what you conceive as the issue with kill mails, right? And some people have very specific issues with it in terms of, perfect intel and all the rest of it. And as you said, there's only so many ways you can fit certain ships. So if you're roaming in my space and you lost the same thing a month ago, I could probably infer that's what you've got. If that's your issue with kill mails, I think everybody has their own different issues.
Yeah, roaming in my space as opposed to roaming in Bebo.
Roaming in Friendster. So I mean, I also don't really care too much about kill mails. The thing I care about with them is that people feel compelled to not lose ships. I think that's a culture that isn't necessarily just perpetuated by Zkill or Zkill. I'm using them interchangeably. I think that's more of a culture that is perpetuated by the group that you're in. So, for example, I know we had some people join Watch This who were previously in groups where it was seen as a bad thing to lose a ship, and they were very antsy about losing ships, whereas others of us, like myself, will just lose a million maledictions to a gate gun. And not
we had
really
to
care
spend
that
quite
much.
some time and effort deprogramming these people from their previous cults.
Who are we referring to now specifically? I feel like I missed.
I couldn't possibly say. In all reality, many different groups, many different groups. And I'm not gonna lie, while I simultaneously believe that there are a lot of unhealthy collective behaviors from the game at large around kill males, I love kill males. I want to see them the second we've killed a ship. I want to see my stats go up. I want to keep my losses number low and my kills number high. But I think that that's an unhealthy aspect in me. But I want it, and I want it now. So I kind of understand that there is no kind of future where, if I ever got back on the CSM again, I'd be like, we should delete kill mails from EVE Online, because it is part of the foundational culture of this entire game at this stage.
Well,
And
that's
there's no getting away from that.
Well, hey, it is a pretty sad state of affairs, like Space Gator said, when this is the top story. But it's summer, There's not much happening, right? There's just Fortizar's dying uncontested.
I'm not sure if it's entirely.
I mean, there was a little war. Do you not
There
remember the little
was.
war that happened? I
Which
flew
one?
recently between Goon staging and Horde staging,
Oh,
and I saw nothing.
so brave. Yeah, no, nothing's happening in that war. Like, the thing is one of my buddies the other day was complaining that they stood down. Like, they decided not to fight, and that's kind of the state of Eve 2, which is weird. But Luke, I think had some CSM stuff he wanted to talk about. Is that right?
I don't have any CSM stuff to specifically talk about. I know Fant had some views on it. I know obviously it's coming to that point in the year where it's likely to come up in the near future. It'll be interesting to see that go out.
Well, Luke, I believe that am I correct in saying that you will be hitting the concurrent
I will be
consecutive
He's
term
off.
term
He's
limit?
out. He's done.
And it's
So
a good thing, right? It's a good
is
thing
there
for
anybody
everyone.
else? Is there anybody else that you can think of currently on who's going to be hitting their limit this year?
So from the current cohort, I'll be term locked. Casimir will be term locked. Storm Delay will be term locked. I think that's it.
Okay,
Is
well,
it-
hey,
is
no,
it-
three
Went away and
is a
come back.
significant proportion. A third of the CSM is going to have to be refreshed.
Kenneth went
Yeah.
away and then came back, so he took a year out. So he won't be term locked, assuming he runs again.
Is it just
yeah.
me, or have we not heard a lot from the CSM this term?
It depends which CSM you speak to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak to none of us outside of Luke. Oh, wait, no, he can't either. From no direct experience for three of us, but from an NDA from Luke, we can't judge how well each CSM member has done with their work with CCP, but we can definitely say who's been the loudest in public, and that's very definitely Young Puke and Drake have been particularly noisy and communicative with the community.
Yep.
Yeah, they've both done really well. Well, in communication, I don't know what they're like in the meetings.
maybe they're terrible. Maybe they're foul-mouthed. Maybe
They just won't stop screaming.
They maybe on the CSM all they do is they just scream into the mic in the meetings to drown everybody out. We don't know, and Luke can't tell us. Oh, what does Luke taking a drink from a can mean? What secret is he trying to convey?
I'm gonna drink my monster.
He's calling them monsters.
All right, so it's a blue can, and in between, he's also put his hair up. So like these things have happened, and these are all.
This is
tells.
just like in all of those Cold War spy
tells.
movies.
There's a code here, I swear it.
But
But we're gonna do some stuff for the CSM. We're gonna do the CSM Royale or whatever it's called. Shamelessly stolen.
Good. Yeah, somebody else's idea that you're going to do. But we're also going to definitely be having
something different.
Smaller groups being interviewed at the same time. Obviously, each year there are what is it, like 40 something candidates?
Lord have mercy. I think
It's around something like that. And obviously, number one, none of us have the fortitude to do 40 individual interviews. Number two, nobody wants to watch 40 individual interviews. So we are hoping to have a number of group discussions with CSM candidates, so that
No, I think the only 40 individual interviews that are always interesting to watch is just to have the CCP ones rolling. Like you can kind of do some other stuff while that's going on. I think it's always worth listening to what other people have got, because
I will say that that is still multiple sessions of multiple hours to get through them. It's a slog, even if you're just watching the 10-minute time limited ones there. But this is how many candidates they are. This is the best way to get to know them.
I think it's pretty healthy that lots of people still put their name forward for it. I think it's a good thing. And I am looking forward to the fact that I get to watch them this year and maybe quiz some up and coming individuals that want to do CSM stuff, rather than being on the receiving end, because it is quite tiring, right? Like you're going from stream to stream to stream and everything else.
Yeah.
I know you know this, fan, right?
Yeah. And not entirely without fruit, but it's a lot. However, what I will say is to anybody watching who is considering running this year, it is a lot of effort. But if you can show people that you are willing to put a lot of effort in, then what you are proving to the voters is that you're not likely to be giving up on working hard with CCP to try and improve the game for us all. And so, please do put the effort in, because we want to see people who put the effort in. We want to vote for you. We want to vote for people who put the effort in to be there. I think that's all I've got to say for candidates.
Say on CSM stuff right before it's
Yeah.
announced and everything else. I'm sure at some point it will come up and we can have a lot more conversations about it.
Yeah, and get some interviews going, some discussions. So what do you guys reckon? I mean, as hosts, how many people is the right number of people to interview at the same time? Probably about 4, right?
At the same time?
All of them, all 40 at the same time, all on, even the ones.
As many as I can fit into
the
a channel.
strongest, loudest one wins.
Is Brick running again?
I've not got any information on who's running this year, actually. No one's coming. No, a couple of people have spoken to me that are interested in it.
I'm coming to you for advice.
When it comes around, yeah. But there are people that have been talking to me since the last CSM campaign about it as well, right? From time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Mute for a second.
All right, Luke. You just run away. Sorry.
He's running away.
No, just as you run away, I was just going to ask Luke if he's had time to undock and take part in the war against AO, which is definitely sort of no longer appearing on Reddit very much at all. Like the initial novelty excitement seems to have gone. Something that seems eternal, that seems to never go away from Discord and from Reddit, is the absolutely insufferable, seemingly endless waifu war of the Southern Warzone.
Just
bloody hell.
Really quickly, guys, I have just been called downstairs to an issue with one of my dogs, so I am going to drop off stream.
Thank you for coming, Luke. We will see you next time.
Yes, the waifu war, which, look, it would be funny if there was an ounce of human creativity in it, but it's just an AI-generated anime woman. Yeah.
There's something.
Sorry, guys, but every time I go in the Faction Warfare channel, it's the same thing.
What do you want to see in the Faction Warfare channel?
I want to see hand-drawn anime women, but...
There we go.
No, I mean, I want to see people fighting, but without the AI slop, I guess.
Speaking of AI, and given that Hilmar seems to be about 5 years behind modern technological trends, how long do you think it'll be before Eve Frontier is converted into an AI-centric platform rather than a blockchain-centric platform?
When you can have Aura be your girlfriend.
Why would they do that? Like, on a scale
Why would they launch a blockchain game?
They launched a
Money.
blockchain game. Yeah, exactly, money.
I wouldn't be
I don't-
surprised if they tried to integrate.
They got
like
paid
AI
they got
chatbot
paid
thing.
$50 million to do it. What do you mean? You'd launch a blockchain game for $50 million? At least I'd hope so.
Now, speaking of blockchain games and things like that, I'm going to strong arm you, Redline, because you made you made a comment just within the last few hours in Discord that you are incredibly pro RMT. Now, what exactly do you mean by that? Because I know that you do not mean botting an account theft to get ISK to sell illicitly.
I do not mean that, no.
Exactly. So
I think that you should be able to sell ISK and Plex for money. And I think CCP should get a cut of every transaction. But I think that should be
I
a
mean,
thing
do they
you
not?
could be able
Do
to
they not get that? Do they not get that via Plex by essentially allowing us to trade subscriptions for the game?
Essentially, I think that there should be a sanctioned marketplace for RMT. Personally, that's just me.
Now, this is this is very much an and finally topic, because obviously that sounds insane.
Why does it sound
'cause-
insane? Diablo 3 did it.
Because it's incredibly pay to win. If I can just be rich in real life and go and buy a Python and then lose it, and then go and buy a Python and then lose it, like
How is that pay to win?
I suppose
That sounds like it's
a
pay to lose.
Titan
What
is
do you
more
mean?
of a thing. Well, but it just removes all the aspiration from the game. I mean, this is something that you have on Serenity,
No,
right?
it
That you can just
doesn't.
pay real money and get ships. I mean, it does. Like, why would I play the game and like get ISK and things when I could just go and work my ass off and then spend money to buy a Titan?
You can already do that. You just buy Plex, sell the Plex. Boom.
I mean,
you
I
have the
suppose you
ISK.
can. Yeah.
Well, the difference is that because there is a earning real money incentive, which there isn't with Plex sales, it would instantly, like by orders of magnitude, much more highly incentivize botting in the game than it does now. Right now, a huge amount of the botting is done for personal ISK gain, not
is a
for
game.
personal real money game.
Eve Frontier is a game that is designed to be botted. Do you know that? It's
Yes, it is.
literally designed to be botted. And it's based on EVE
And
Online.
I'm glad that such a thing is set over there away from the real EVE Online.
Why?
I mean, you run into. I mean, somebody has mentioned in chat. You run into a lot of money laundering regulations and things. You also run into the modern slavery thing of if the cost of like a billion ISK is more than somebody's income in China or something, you then have gold farms like you did in World of Warcraft, etc. And you do already in EVE have like ISK farms because people are just put to work grinding ISK, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Because what it does is this isn't just about
they have
the.
work.
This sounds terrible. This isn't just about the human casualties of this, but this is also about the economy of our video game that we play for fun.
Oh yeah.
Which obviously isn't as important as the human, blah 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 blah. But if there was an incentive for people to make real money out of EVE Online, then you would just see inflation skyrocket faster than the classic Zimbabwe inflation of their currency and things like that, making the game non-functional in terms of being able to just play it for the sake of playing it, which would then ruin that RMT and make the whole thing collapse.
How would selling Plex for money ruin the game?
Well, we were talking about selling.
Look, I already have a full-time job, right? And then I have a second part-time job, which is playing EVE. But I do it part for fun. I think
you pay
once
for
you
that
get
one as
into
well.
yeah, I think once you get into cashing out ISK into real money, there's a pressure on everybody playing to there's already a pressure on everybody playing to min-max your ISK per hour, right? Everybody's always like, oh, if you're not making
Well, we're all
300 million
competing with
per
each other
hour.
on our earnings.
Exactly. And
I'm not.
once you start cashing out ISK into real money,
you know.
there's a lot of pressure to be making real money, and I don't really want that pressure when I'm playing a game for fun, I suppose. There's always the thought of, oh, I've technically just spent like £20 in real life because I bought a new Demos or something. That is not fun to me.
I mean, also when what I want to do when I'm playing this game, the only thing that I'm playing in this game is playing with other people who are also playing against other people who are also playing the game for the sake of playing the game. If I was now playing against an increasingly large number of people who are not playing the game to play the game, then there's no game for me to play.
There's also a bit of a feedback loop here in that if you invest money into buying Plex to get the good ships to increase your ISK per hour to cash out the money into real money, like they're going to have to balance that somehow.
What did I miss?
Redline would like a straight RMT to be legal.
Phantomite decided to bring up the RMT topic. He was talking about, we're not going to talk about it. And he brought it up. Like, the fuck? What do you mean?
We weren't going to talk about anybody's perceptions of groups related to RMT.
Oh,
fair enough.
okay.
First of all, I apologise for dropping like that. I have
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Old poorly dog who had just had a bit of a moment and couldn't walk properly, and then by the time I got back downstairs, she was wandering around again. I'm like, well,
faking it for attention is what you're saying.
I don't think she was faking it for attention, but it's intermittent. She's like a 13-year-old girl, and you know. So I run downstairs and I was like, oh well, okay, you're now standing on a chair and standing on a table. You're probably fine again.
That's what the doctor always asks me to do to see how fit I am.
Stand on the table.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you give people a ability to make real money from it, and that's what you will be competing against if you're just trying to enjoy the game as a game.
Wouldn't that be a good
I already
thing
don't
for
like
you?
Plex being able to be transferred into ISK. I miss the old days. I don't
You're
like being
selling
able to
them on
buy
the
skill
forums.
points. I miss the old days.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I was thinking the other day about, like, being able to buy skill points. And I think that as far as the current implementation that they eventually did for buying and injecting skill points is, where it's diminishing returns on, how many skill points you actually get from an injector, depending on how many skill points you've already got. I think that's the best possible thing, because what that does is it allows skill injectors to act as a jump start to get you to a level where you can take part, not a level where you are a god.
I think skill injectors are a good thing. I mean, you've still got the skill expression point, right? Just because you can fly a ship doesn't mean you can fly a ship, and I think
we see that a lot, don't we? Well, not a lot, but we do see notable swiping examples of,
or maybe not being able to fit a ship if you haven't got either. But I think because Eve is such a long run game, you do need the ability to bring in new players and get them up to a place where they can engage if they want to. Otherwise, the game slowly cannibalizes itself as people that started when they were young get older, have kids, have families, can't dedicate screen time. The game just dies there at that point, right?
We're moving back into a topic that we've discussed before, in that should the default starting point of a new player after they've done the tutorial, etc., not be that they're already able to take part without having to purchase a skill injector?
That's also a fair point.
To an extent, I mean, every aspect of what makes everything you do in Eve meaningful boils down to how much effort and time it took, including your character, to an extent.
Speaking of effort and time, I'd just like to shout out Drake Idden for drawing a lovely hand-drawn waifu in the Faction Warfare channel of Evo, which has infinitely more soul than any of the AI-generated ones.
Redline, if I paste it to you, would you... Yeah, I've pasted it in the backstage chat. Would you be able to bring that up for everybody to enjoy at some stage within the next few minutes?
No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? That is shit. Why would you want that on the screen? Who drew that?
That's come from one of your PSN members.
Which one?
It's come from one of your loudest, most communicative CSM members for all of us.
Drake?
Here. Yes. Also, now you know it's Drake. Now it's art, is it?
No, it's not art.
That's a
It's
Banksy.
even-
That's a genuine Banksy.
It's still bad. I'm just wanting to address Drake directly when I say, Drake, please stop. Don't do that anymore.
Drake, please carry on. In fact, if Redline's not going to put it up, then I'm going to paste it into the chat for everybody to enjoy.
No, I call you an autist. There's a difference.
It's just one letter difference. Right. Well,
You said it already.
I think
What?
I think it's coming up on time for us to give our sort of our final lines.
I don't think so. We just got here.
Yes.
And you wanted to
Yes!
talk about RMT. So let's talk about RMT, because if you really think about RMT as like a legitimate vessel for CCP to make money, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Would you experience inflation? Probably. But would you
Probably,
be able to deal with
definitely.
it? Absolutely.
No, because something that people who are playing the game to play the game cannot do, and this is something that we know a lot about from
The
being in
people-
faction war space, is
the-
that you cannot outcompete bots and farmers.
Okay, well, let's assume that there wouldn't be bots, right? Because bots get banned. So
Well,
of
that's
course-
a pretty big leap to assume that in an
It's
RMT
massive,
world,
in
let's
fact.
imagine there wouldn't be bots. yeah, okay. Let's imagine there wouldn't
So
be
here's
bots.
the thing:
Go on.
there's bots
I-
now, though. There's already
I think-
bots.
Yeah, but I think, and I'm gonna put my real day job hat on a second here. I think if you would infinitely make the situation worse, right? Like if you're talking about 5 years ago,
With
maybe.
bots.
Yeah, 5 years ago, maybe. Now with all of the generative AI stuff, you're just opening a floodgate at that point. That's even going to be harder to identify, right? Like because you're now basically saying you can make you can make a career off of this. Like, why wouldn't you? Like,
I mean, for example, we've seen the slop that has come out of before AI. We've seen the slop that has come out of the movement of passive income and drop shipping and things like that, right? What that really did was it made a endless sea of utter junk retail on the internet. Was the era of easy one-click install, plug together, drop ship for any idiot to be able to do. And now in the AI world, what we see is platforms that allow you to make some money, like YouTube and very much so TikTok. We just see what
TikTok
is
maintains.
for some groups, we see an end-to-end, fully automated generation, rendering and uploading and promoting set of total slop videos.
It's not-
And
you're
that would be the
basically
same thing
saying
here.
is people just vibe code their EVE Online bots.
Yeah, I was going to say I vibe coded my
fucking hate
mining
that.
bot.
I hate that term so much.
It's a term that doesn't. It's a term that lends undeserved valor.
It is, and I won't get on my soapbox too much. It is a term that lends credibility to people that do not deserve credibility, that they can just talk to a system and get it to write something that people learn over decades how to do. And I'm now going to get back off of my engineering soapbox and talk about EVE Online again. As you can tell, it's a very passionate subject.
I mean, in
It
fairness,
is something that I would like to discuss at another date, but it's essentially a non-EVE Online
It is.
topic, like you say as well. But I am.
well, for now, you don't think that any of the stuff that has been used to promote EVE Online has been AI generated?
I mean, I do see EVE Online promotions. Occasionally, it advertises to me on websites to come and play EVE Online, but it's usually just static images with recognizable ships.
Although, actually,
Mm.
one thing I will, and this is EVE Online connected because of a different project that I'm part of. One thing I have seen is the use of generative AI to create NPCs that have real world living dialogue that responds to the situation. And that is quite cool.
It's quite cool, assuming
Not
that.
NPCs in baddies. This is more narrative stuff. Let's be clear, right? Not.
Yeah,
Like the game where you were a detective and you used your microphone to talk to the people as you were investigating like some sort of a crash. Play that one?
I mean, no, but I could see the similarity in that situation. Yeah.
the difficulty is there that certainly for the last few years and still today, if you have a narrative you're trying to present and you use AI to allow people to interact with it and fill in the gaps, then there's a high chance of it just being wrong and not helping people get through the narrative.
Yeah, it would hallucinate.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a lovely chat GPT transcript of it telling them how to avoid drones whilst flying a claw the other day, and it was just entirely wrong.
But I mean that's what AI is, though. It's
But
a
it
system
looked
that gives the
correct.
impression that it was written by a person.
Is glorified predictive text.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing. Like it's just what it is.
Ooh, what if all kill mails were generated by an AI, so they might be right, but actually they're probably wrong?
I think I'm going to stop.
And
you
also
there.
they're NFTs on the
We
blockchain.
should have ended the show. You were right. I'm so sorry. It would have
All
been
right,
a
hey,
great
listen,
time to call it
listen,
quits.
Luke. It's good to see you back here again. What are your final words for today?
I mean, kind of to go off on a tangent. It's good to be back. There's a whole couple of reasons why I've been away, which I won't go into. It's good to be seeing things going on while I've been away as well. Obviously, we've had the stuff going on in Provi. There's the waifu war. At least there's still something going on rather than kind of come back.
It is
to
content. It is content, even
It is still
if
content.
half of us in this channel hate it.
Look, the fighting's fine, just
content, right?
the
Like,
rest of it.
it's the summer. There is at least something going on to get involved in. So that's it's a good thing. I think the last couple of years during the summer there was pretty much nothing. So it's better than what we probably had last year. So I think that's a good thing.
Peace.
Yeah, there's stuff going on. I wish there was more stuff going on. I'm something we didn't hit on. I'm interested to see when the new kill mail information ESI endpoint comes out, which they discussed at FanFest. There's a very technical video on a new ESI endpoint. CCP's YouTube page for that, but it has a bunch more information in. And I asked a question during that: why don't they just replace the actual kill mail ESI endpoint with that? And I got a very dissatisfactory answer. So you can go and watch that. Yeah, more wars, please, without waifus.
Okay, or with, if it's what makes the war happen.
And draw your waifus.
I think my final thought before I hand it over to you, Redline, is that if you put kill mails in the room with me now, I wouldn't hesitate to slit its throat.
That is an extremely violent thing to say.
Join
Just
Watch This, the most violent alliance in
in
LoSec.
general, holy fuck.
Watch This is an alliance full of human evil.
Wow. All right, well, I don't really have many final thoughts. There seems to be a cool fellow that is streaming EVE Online. We're gonna raid him. It's his 13th day. I like that number, obviously. Are we doing a show next week? I'm still on summer break.
hope
That's
so.
why I'm not on camera. But when it's not summer, oof,
He's naked.
woo! When it's not summer, boys, you're gonna be tired of seeing me. I'll tell you what.
That's not a good advert.
It
We also
just
don't
means
see you. We just see your avatar on a screen. To be fair, like
I know right now. I just said because I'm still on break. But when I'm not, though, when I'm not, it's time.
He's going to come back and he's going to be incredibly tan and incredibly ripped.
And I'm gonna play the video game. Promise. Anyways, we're gonna go see this guy. Make sure you throw the purple hearts in the chat when we get there. If you don't, you're lame. And we'll see you next week. Everyone wave. Is everyone waving? I can't see.
Yes, everyone's
Bye,
waving.
everybody.
All right, great. Bye.